Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Kanwar Shekhawat and I hope you all are doing great. I create videos on how to do econometric analysis and data analysis using various softwares like SPSS, Data, EViews and R. So if you are new to my channel, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and keep following the videos. So in this video, I'm going to explain how to perform the impulse response function in EViews. Okay, so let's start with it. So first of all, what is impulse response function and why there is a need to run the function? So it is a very useful technique for studying the interactions between variables in a vector autoregressive model. Okay, so you need to first run the VAR model to perform the impulse response function. And it is a practical way basically for representing the behavior of economic variables in response to the shocks to the dependent variable. Okay, so to perform the impulse response function, you need to first import your data file in EViews. So as you can see, I have already imported my data file and this is the work file of the EViews. And suppose there are three concerned variables in my data set. Okay, and I'm running the impulse response function using the log form of the variable. Okay, and you can also run the function using the first difference of the variables. So I'm proceeding with the log form of the variables and there are three concerned variables. So first select your dependent variable. So log of CO2 is the dependent variable in my dataset, and then using the control key, select your independent variables. So there are two independent variables in my dataset. One is log of trade openness TO and the other one is log of phi, that is GDP. Okay, so these are the three concerned variables, and then open these variables as var. Okay, so this is the var specification wherein the var type is standard var and keep rest of the things as default, okay, including the lags, and then click OK. So this is the result for your vector autoregression estimates. Okay, so once you have obtained your vector autoregression estimates, you need to click on view, then go to impulse response, and here in the impulse responses dialog box, you need to select the display format as multiple graphs, and in the impulses box, you need to mention your dependent variable. Okay, so log of CO2 is the dependent variable, and in the responses, you need to mention your independent variables. So these two, lnTO and lny, these two are the independent variables in my dataset. Okay, the time period is 10. All right, and in the impulse definition, you need to select Koleski degree of freedom adjusted. Okay, so these are basically the decomposition method. Okay, you can like proceed with residual 1 unit or residual 1 standard deviation. So I'm proceeding with Koleski degree of freedom adjusted, and this is the ordering, that is the dependent variable followed by the independent variables, and afterwards click OK. So you can see these graphs shows the response to Koleski 1 standard deviation degree of freedom adjusted. Okay, so since there were two independent variables in my data set, so this first graph shows the response of first independent variable to the dependent variable CO2, and the second graph shows the response of second independent variable to the dependent variable. Okay, now how to interpret the results for the impulse response function. So look at the first graph. So these red line shows the 95% confidence intervals. Okay, and this blue line shows the impulse response function. Okay, so this blue line in the first graph shows the impulse response function of trade openness. Okay, and in the second graph, this blue line shows the impulse response function for GDP. Okay, now this blue line should always lie between the red line, because red line is the confidence interval band. So your impulse response function should always lie between the red line. Okay, now look at the first graph. So this indicates that any impulse or innovation or any shock in the dependent variable will result in increase in the response of independent variable. As you can see, this blue line is showing an upward trend. It means that with any innovation or any change in the carbon dioxide emissions, the trade openness will increase, because this impulse response function is for this trade openness independent variable. Okay. Similarly, in the second graph, any impulse or any innovation or shock in the dependent variable will lead to an upward trend in the GDP. So LNY is GDP. Okay. So basically both these independent variables are showing an upward trend. In the first one, as you can see, uh, initially it is negative, but after the third period, it is showing a positive trend. And for the second one, the graph is in positive direction. So both these independent variables, LNTU and LNY, are showing positive response. Okay, there exists a positive response. So with any change or any innovation or any shock in the carbon dioxide, that is the dependent variable, will result in an upward trend in trade openness and GDP. Okay, so with the ultimate conclusion is that with increase in the dependent variable, the independent variables are showing an upward trend. So this is how you can interpret your results for the impulse response function. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and keep following the videos. Thank you.